For these problems, we're going to find the products. A product is just the answer to a multiplication problem. So let's look at some examples. In these problems, you'll notice that all of them are being multiplied by 100. So in this case, you can just use what you know about the place value system and solve the problems that way. So let's review kind of what we know about the place value system. Every time you move from one place to the next, from the right to the left, you are getting 10 times bigger. You go from the tens to the hundreds, you've gotten 10 times bigger again. Well, what happens if you go from the ones straight to the hundreds? If you do that, you have to times 10 times, and 10 times 10 is 100. So from the ones place to the hundreds place gets 100 times bigger. And you can see that because it takes $100 bills to make a $100 bill. So using that, we can solve these problems. Let's look at number 1. It says 362 times 100. Here we have 362 on the place value chart. If we want to multiply 362 by 100, all we need to do is multiply each digit by 100. And what we have to do that is just move each digit 2 places to the left. The 6 is going to move 2 places to the thousands place. And the 2 is going to move 2 places to the hundreds place. So we end up having 362, but we have 2 more places here that used to have digits, but now we've moved those digits. So you can't leave those blank, you have to add zeros as a placeholder. So then your answer ends up being 36,200. Let's look at number 2. On number 2, we have 923. So if we want to get 100 times bigger, we have to move each digit twice. So the 9 is going to move to the 10,000s place, the 2 is going to move to the thousands place, and the 3 is going to move to the hundreds place. But then we're left with these 2 spots that we have to fill in with zeros because we can't leave any places empty. So our answer ends up being 92,300. As we begin going and solving these problems, what we're basically doing is moving each place 2 places to the left. When you're doing multiplication, you're going to start seeing a pattern. So if we look at number 1, we see that we still have this 362, but we also have 2 zeros. And those 2 zeros come from these 2 zeros. We moved 2 spots, and that left 2 spots empty. And we had to fill those 2 spots with zeros. And that's how we get those extra zeros. And if we see here, the same thing, 923, 923. 2 zeros, 2 zeros. So for 389, we know this number, the answer, the product, is going to start with 389. And when we move it, when we shift each digit 2 places to the left, we're going to open up 2 places that we need to fill in zeros with. And so our answer would end up being 38,900. For number 6, we have 128, but as we shift them all 2 places to the left, it's going to open up 2 places at the end of the number, and we have to put zeros in those placeholders. And notice it's the same number of zeros that you multiplied by. If we have 25 times 10, we end up just having 25 with 1 zero. If we have 25 times 100, we end up just having 25 with 2 hundreds. And if we had 25 times 1,000, we would end up having 25 with 3 zeros. So you try some on your own and see how you can do. If you still need more help, you can come back and rewatch the video. Good luck!